Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, thanks for being here. I'm Claire Cooley. This is the Creativity Show, and we're going to start getting the flow going with a little, what I like to call floga. Very simple, no matter what your range of motion, what shape you're in, doesn't matter. We're just going to gently move from the bottom of our body up to the top and back down, just to get the energy flowing. So, you ready, Bo?
Just about.
Okay, first in the feet. The arches, the toes, the heels, feel them on the floor. Now the ankles. The shins and calves. Knees. Just getting the energy flowing. Can't do it wrong other than hurting yourself or breaking something, so have some fun. Some thighs. Hips. Booty and belly and and up into the rib cage.
Oh, yeah. That's a good stretch.
I like circles. Shoulders. Bump them. Shake them. Vibrate them. Upper arms. Gives us a chance to shake out any tension. Elbows. Lower arms. Wrists. Fingers. Now slow it down and go gentle with the neck. And now head. Now all the way back down, everything. Shake it out. We're not just bodies carrying our brains around. We're brains directing our bodies. And mine says, have some fun. Alrighty, and I like to start art projects and get up during the day and just do a little of that instead of just sitting, especially if we have writing, screen work, stationery, desk work, paperwork, where we're sitting being still. Our brains work better when we move, and getting the flow of the oxygen and blood, all that. Good for us, good for our work. So now I'm going to set up to do some art in front of you in this, what I'm calling Subtle Seasons 7 Scroll Series. Wait, I didn't quite get all the alliteration I wanted in there. Subtle Seasons 7 Scroll Stairs Series. Try saying that fast. So while I set that up, Bo, you have something you could share so they could.
Yeah. So Joni B said, feeling invigorated, fun floga. That's the spirit. It is fun, Joni. How you doing?
Nice you're here, Joni. I feel ya and appreciate you and you being here. And same with everybody else being here. I appreciate it. And
Great. And how about I show like a 7-minute video about how you became a creativity coach and some of that information while you're doing this setup phase.
Perfect. Great.
All right, guys. So we're going to show a short video. Like I said, it's 7 minutes. It's got a lot of cool information, the backstory of Clare Cooley. And when that's over, we'll be back live making art.
Hi,
Great.
this is The Creativity Show. I'm Bodhi Werner, a writer and movie maker, and I'm helping Clare Cooley share creativity with you. The show will start in a few minutes. Meanwhile, let me tell you the story of how she became a creativity coach. What is a creativity coach, you ask? Well, good question. As she puts it, her job is to help people strengthen their connection to their creativity, the confidence to express it, and the courage to share it with others. She is a National Endowment for the Arts grant-winning author, artist, and creativity coach. In her 20s, she was hired to teach her multimedia arts curriculum, Dancing into the Arts, in a different school each week. She taught all grade levels in the public schools, universities, hospitals, crisis and rehabilitation centers, juvenile halls, women's clubs, and the mental health courts, the clients and the lawyers, probation officers, and judges. Teaching ended up being the way that she went to school because she stopped attending school regularly at 7 years old. Her inspirational life prompted many people to tell her to write, including me. Many said that her stories had helped them and would help others. The co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival, Serena Catania, called my mother's memoir and art book, Incandescence Rising Above Darkness, an instant classic. When Serena invited us onto her podcast, she said,
"You are describing some of the most difficult situations I've ever heard for a little girl to go through, but it's done in such a positive, lyrical, spiritual way that it really does rise above what was actually happening to you." And I think in that way, it can be very inspirational to people who are having a hard time, no matter what the hard time is. And I'm really highly recommending it.
I agree, and that's why I wrote a screenplay based on her 52 powerful stories. Even her recollections of the terrible things she went through in her dangerous upbringing leave people uplifted because of her spirit. She survived by focusing on serene nature and thrived through creative expression. My script made it to the second round of the prestigious Austin Film Fest script competition. But this isn't about me. Clare's art was selected by the Natural World Museum, and she's done multiple one-woman shows at the Carpellis Museum, including Warblers and Wildflowers and Sentinels of Serenity, Cranes. Also, Claire's art was selected for the juried section of the International Gift Show. Her paintings in China were displayed at the corporate headquarters of Chevron, where she hoped her respect for nature could do some good. Her art was on the cover of the Red Rose catalog, and the Pheasants Forever magazine selected her painting for the Pollinator Print of the Year. She was the featured artist at the Lodi Sandhill Crane Festival. Her portfolio has over 600 drawings, paintings, and etchings. And she's also got an additional 300 plus stencil designs. The limited edition prints that we make ourselves are available on her web store. The link is in the description. Her previous home, 7 Levels, was on the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art gallery tours. The entire interior was an expression of her creativity. She etched wisteria on the glass behind her 4-story copper stair rail vines. She designed and hand-painted furniture. Her table and cabinet were featured in the San Francisco Designer Showcase House. She made chandeliers, fireplace screens, floral and tabletop designs.
Jewelry and wardrobe.
She designed and hand-carved a 202-piece set of crane china. Each piece was unique and each dinner plate depicted a different species of crane. Claire's first book was published by Pomegranate Art Books. For her Book of Cranes, she observed all 15 species of cranes. We followed the migration of the sandhill cranes across the country and interviewed nature conservation enthusiasts like George Archibald, the founder of the International Crane Foundation. Experiencing how well we work together, I asked my mother to combine our complementary skills and named us Mother-Son Productions. The Napa Valley Arts Council asked Claire to do an art performance. Her Freedom Flight performance was dedicated to world peace and included 90 artists and the community who painted silk wings to dance in to live music. Claire's first public art performances were interpreting art at gallery openings. She did dance performances at live readings of children's stories and poetry. Claire and her dance skating partner Lateef Swain performed at Give Peace a Dance. They led the parade for the opening of the California Academy of Sciences. Claire skate danced at Theater Arto in the Nutcracker. Claire played the bamboo flute in the music she produced. She has been interviewed on the Women of Vision television show, on radio, and podcasts. We may not truly see those closest to us until something gives us a new perspective. When I was 16, she asked me to digitize her artistic portfolio, and I was able to take in the depth and breadth of her artistic accomplishments, which inspired my first movie, Life of Art. We chose a historic home by Lake Superior and named it after its original green-colored shingles. Our short documentary, Polishing the Emerald Lady, shows us restoring it. We even turned our over 100-year-old carriage house into the Carriage Creativity Studio, where we make movies, art, and even dance skate. Join Claire's Patreon for free to get ideas, instruction, and inspiration. Upgrade to a paid membership to receive exclusive access to her ever-increasing Stencil Design SVG catalog. The Creativity Show goes live on YouTube and Twitch, and also Claire Cooley's Patreon, Facebook, and LinkedIn profiles. You can send stars to support her work here on Facebook, or donate through Venmo or PayPal. The links are in the description. You can contact me by email, mothersonproductions@gmail.com, with any questions. Now remember, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Bodhi, for making that video. It really is dearly appreciated. And I'm so glad that we are a team with our very different skill sets. Bodhi with all of his technical curiosity and facilities, and me with my hands-on curiosity and all that I love to do, which is create. So we're going to do some creation in front of you today on this Subtle Seasons 7 Scroll Stairs series. And the seasons are going to start winter and then go down the stairs, autumn, summer, spring. And at the bottom of the stairs, there's going to be a pool, cooling of the waterfall that comes off the mountain, turns into a river, and becomes a pond or little small lake. And then we'll have those kinds of creatures. So for winter, I have a moose and a wolf. Autumn, I have a stag and a fox. Summer, I have a bear and its cub. Then we have spring, a bunny, and we're going to have other pond creatures or little creatures around the pond, fish, turtle, perhaps chipmunk, squirrel, all the animals that we see here in this part of the world. And I'm going to work on the next one in the series in front of you. I'm going to show you how I do it. First, I decide which creature is going to represent which season, and I have them coming, the mountains are coming down, a waterfall turning into a river, into a pond, as I said. There will be at the bottom a very thick woodsy area. So this is how I lay out the concept, purpose, feeling, and then I start the design. So I'm going to start on the wolf that I'm going to show you. Would you, under this, maybe hand me all the creatures and I will show them under this camera.
All right, fox, deer, bear, bunnies.
Great.
Bunnies, bears. Okay. I'll turn on the overhead camera.
Great. And I'm going to show you my process of designing this art. First, I start with the concept, was that I had these stairs in the house that didn't have any magic going down them in the back of the house. And I thought, well, this is a good place for a story. So it's the Subtle Seasons story that's going to be also a tribute to how I started as a visual artist with Sumi brushstroke, and it's going to be the minimalist essence of Sumi black and white. And so when that overhead camera's on, I can show you. Oh, it is on. Okay, so here are some things that are pen and ink. Here's a little fawn, and here's a turtle that actually was one of the first drawings I ever did. My little CC signature looks like a bug landed on it. That's how far back that was before I even used my name. So these are from long ago, but they're showing The style I like is minimal. I like the elegance of simplicity. So here's the first one, the moose, which we have a colored pencil with the Sumi on here and a watercolor with the Sumi ink here. The Three Musketeers, Bodhi named them, and the one on the floor here, which I will pick up now so you can see it, is just Sumi with a little bit of acrylic for the snow. So that's 3 different ways to use this moose design that first I drew, and then Bodhi took a picture and reduced it to this size. Then he reduced it to this size. And then I said, oh, let's flip it. I want the moose facing in the other direction for this painting. So that's how the moose got loose. So there it is. It's actually facing the other direction. And this one, the one that I'm using in the stair series, is facing the first way. So now we're going to go to the wolf, which is going in the second series. Here's the original drawing. And as you can see, I like to reduce things to their essence, as few lines as can communicate the creature or the scene or the plant, whatever it is. And then here's the reduced on one paper, reduced and facing the other direction. That one I knew I wanted flipped. So we'll just go through the other creatures. Here's the stag, which comes next, and then the fox, and then it's going to be the bear and bear cub. I don't know if it's going to be this one. Neither one are quite done yet, or this one.
Let me adjust the exposure on the overhead camera because those are pretty bright. Let's see. There we go. That helps.
Okay.
And we pick up those lines a little bit better.
And then there's going to be a bunny. I don't know if it's going to be a single bunny across from a mother and baby bunny. I'll know when I get there which way to go. I like to work on more than one piece at a time so I can go back and forth while I've got the energy without losing perspective or overworking things. So that's one of the benefits of doing a series. I almost always work in series. So here is the next piece in this series that is going to be the wolf and the mountains coming down. And here is a little soft pencil. I don't know if you can see that, tracing just a few pencil lines of the wolf design. And so that's what I'm going to put in first. And is that under the camera? I'm going to ask you for a C47,
All right.
which I love to mention is what they call clothespins in the movie industry. It is a clothespin, but you know, they got to have fancy names for things, make it seem important. It is important. Who are we kidding? I don't know if that's going to keep it from sliding, but
Well, you could see 47. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I need it to be about there. Is that showing? It's okay. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, what you do is you put your hand over it and then you look at the screen. And you can tell where you're drawing.
Okay.
That should do it.
Okay. So now I'm going to get some brushes and some Sumi ink in the Suzuri, which and these are such faint little lines here. Let me get my magnifiers out. Even though they are dirty, it's so better than not using them. So, here we go. That's... Yeah.
So Joni said, this is out of left field, but you and Bodhi could create a beautiful children's book with illustration and rhymes. Maybe it could inspire a young artist. How the moose got loose made me think of that. That was very Dr. Seuss of her.
Nice. Well, I often mention him in how many times he submitted his work to publishers before someone published him. It was a lot of times. I don't remember numbers usually, so I'm not going to even guess, but I'm sure it's on the internet somewhere. And then he became this icon. That's a great idea. Thank you, Joni.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss sent out a lot of query letters, which is, we're doing that too. We're sending out query letters for our books, so good to keep in mind that these things take time.
Yes. And sometimes things, especially if they're a little ahead of their time, they're not necessarily going to be appreciated right away. Sometimes it's later. If it's new, different, which if it's not authentic to our creativity, meaning it's got to be different, it's us, because every one of us is different.
Well, it takes courage to be different. And on that note, it's time for the creativity quote of the day. Are you ready?
Beautiful. I am.
Georgia O'Keeffe said, "To create one's own world takes courage."
There you go.
Ain't that the truth?
From the mouth of a great.
She knows what she's talking about. But yeah, that's, to be different, it does take courage because nobody's given you permission. Nobody's shown, that it's a successful path forward. Because if you're not copying somebody else's success, you're just doing your own thing, then there's risk involved when you think about it from a business perspective or, which is antithetical to art. So that's why it's important to embrace the courage it takes.
And give ourselves permission. The most creative people are playful. They're not taking it too serious. They're like, I hadn't done Sumi in 50 years. So now I'm doing it again because it seemed like the way to go on this series. So now And I get to give myself permission to explore my own creativity.
Yep. So another one from her is, I should have listened to myself. Georgia O'Keeffe is
Nice.
quoted as saying, I should have listened to myself.
There you go. The best creative ideas come from our inner instincts, our feelings, and there's a lot in society that fears feelings. So
Well, feelings are not always fun. And yeah, it takes courage. So Albert Einstein quote, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world.
nice.
If you guys have a favorite creativity quote, please feel free to put it in the comments. So we've got a question here.
Yeah.
My computer is annoying me. Let me see the question. There it is. Most people focus on one medium. Why don't you?
I think that anything we do, any creative expression we explore enhances our connection to our imaginations, our confidence to express it, and courage to share it with others. And that's my life goal and work, is to just let it flow and not judge myself or others or be competitive with anyone else. Just let it flow. So I use the opportunity, like I want something in my life, like some magic in this back staircase that I'm doing this 7 paintings for, as an opportunity to do a new body of work. And it also came from listening to Sue say, how about do a mural? I thought, well, no, that's something I haven't done. So this is a movable mural. So everything is an opportunity to learn something new. And if we keep doing the same thing over and over, we're not really challenging our creative resourcefulness. Yeah.
So Michael B on YouTube said one of Frida Kahlo's most famous quotes is, I am my own muse. I am the subject I know best, the subject I want to know better.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that. And thank you, Georgia, for feeling it and sharing it. And it's true. We are the subject we always have access to. So I'm lifting this up because there's some ink that got underneath in the water. So now I'm going to let this dry out, set this down here.
So great, perfect time for our next segment, creativity today, which is topics of creativity and art in modern times. And so Forbes Eva Amson recently did an article about the health effects of art. And so the annual Society for Neuroscience conference is currently underway in Chicago. This was actually done in October. Thousands of neuroscientists have gathered to discuss the latest topics in neuroscience research. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Skipping forward, but the conference opened with a presentation about art. The large annual gathering of neuroscientists has always put art in the spotlight, more so than any other scientific meeting. Every year, a group of artists is invited to exhibit and sell their neuroscience-themed art at the meeting. Anyhow, in their opening lecture, Susan Magsamen, Director of International Art and Mind Lab at the Johns Hopkins University, highlighted the burgeoning field of neuroarts research. She showed data from the Penn Center which indicated that more and more scientists are now studying the overlap of neuroscience and aesthetics. That is the area of research that studies how our brains respond to art and other things we find pleasing to look at. Interesting. This is also a collaboration between the National Institute of Health and the National Symphony Orchestra to learn more about connections between music and health. The importance of art on mental health makes it valuable for research. I think just learning more about art and all of the things we couldn't yet comprehend about it make it valuable, but yes. In turn, the more research there is, the more clear the value of art becomes. Already plenty of evidence for the effect of the arts on health. Several dozen research papers about using dance to support people with Parkinson's disease. There's also growing evidence from several different research groups that singing helps people with Alzheimer's. And ongoing innovative called Creative Force uses evidence based on art therapy to help military and veteran people with mental health issues. Now, you are someone uniquely poised to comment on this because of your experience as a professional art therapist for Millard Dwan Mental Health Center in Duluth and other work that you've done.
Well, thank you. Yes, I, in my 20s, was asked to teach because at an outdoor party, 9 different people said I should teach dance because I just love dancing. It makes me happy to move. It makes everybody happy to move. And I never had a dance class. I've never had any art classes, no formal training, but I let myself enjoy creative expression, heal myself through the expression of emotions, stimulating the immune system. I like to say art makes us smart. It doesn't just heal us because feelings initiate thoughts and art initiates feelings. So it was my own self-therapy through my childhood that was very challenging, and my teens, very challenging. And life is always challenging. And art is what keeps me coming back to positivity. So it's my own way of healing myself and restoring myself. And people saw that and asked me to teach. And so I wrote my own curriculum, and then I volunteered at the mental health facility, and they hired me and paid me, and they paid me to work in drug rehabilitation and juvenile halls, blah, 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 all kinds of places, because expressing ourselves is healing. And art is a way we can express anything, any emotion, safely, respectfully. So that's what I want to share. Yes.
Joni on YouTube asked, I have a creative friend who would like to put her writing and art into the world, but she never feels that it's polished enough. Do you have any advice for her?
Well, I call myself a recovering perfectionist because I never think anything I do, whether it's writing, painting, clothes design, is as good as it could be. I've never done anything that's perfect, but it's, for me, not courageous, and it's also not kind to not share what gives us hope. So waiting for it to be perfect, first of all, is never going to happen. Second, those that could be uplifted by it don't get any good feeling from our writing or our painting or whatever our art is if we don't share it. So be courageous. Share yourself in process. We're all a work in process. None of us are done. None of us are perfect. No art is perfect. I think I heard that the Mona Lisa was worked on for 15 years. So, you know, artists can be perfectionists. Anyone can be. And if you get stuck there and don't share, for me, it's not courageous. Writing my stories and putting them out to the world took enormous courage for me because, well, first of all, I'm private by nature. I call myself the friendly recluse. And so it was terrifying, but people said, your stories helped me when I heard them. And that's why I wrote my book, to help people. So how selfish would it have been to say, oh, it's not good enough, I'm not going to put it out there? Let it go out there and help those it can help. And it's not all about me. So I hope something there helps your friend.
That's great. And now, on for our next segment, the creativity joke of the day.
Good.
Yeah,
It's about time.
it is. Did you hear about the artist who lost their dog?
No, while I'm doing a wolf, I didn't.
Oh, yeah? Well, they had to go out and canvas the area. Ha! Okay, that was really good. Off to a great start.
I didn't get it. Am I missing something?
They had to go out and canvas the area.
Oh, the artist. I got it. Canvas. Yeah,
It should
okay.
be, did you hear about the painter who lost? Yeah, that would have been better. Okay, notes for next time. Painter. What did the students say when the art teacher asked her why she was staring at an empty piece of paper? I'm drawing a blank.
Ah, that's good. That was good.
Stick to art is what you're saying, huh?
No,
Stick to art.
that was good. I like that.
How do painters deal with the critics? They brush them off.
Nice.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay. All right. How's it going out there?
Pretty good.
Jo-
All I'm doing is trying to create some depth of field by the Sumi getting a little lighter as it is further away from us. And
Joni
don't
was
have
very
this-
generous with her laughing emojis, smiley face emojis.
good,
Glad we got some laughs.
good.
We're still working on that segment.
So I haven't quite worked out with this clay paper how to, work with water. Sumi is wet. Acrylic, it's wet. Watercolor's wet, and not have it bleed through. So what I do when that happens is I just make it part of the composition. Like these will become some gray in the clouds, but I have to let it dry for a bit now. So good time for another question or quote, whatever you got there.
All right. Question. How can you create in so many different mediums?
I just give myself permission to learn things. I don't have to be the best at anything in life other than being me. And it's the only thing I can be the best at. And I don't need to compete with anyone else. I don't need to compare myself to anyone else. So if I want to make clothes, if I want to make jewelry, if I want to do painting, writing, dance, play my bamboo flute in the underground parking lot stairwell because it echoes, I get to. And I gave myself permission very early in life because I came up so poor. And like everyone else, I wanted nice clothes, nice jewelry, a nice home. So the way to have that was to make it myself. And the way to afford that was to use whatever I had, whatever I found at a used store or whatever someone donated, like this clay paper I'm learning to work with because it was donated to me. And so whatever I have to work with and whatever I want to have in my life, I give myself permission to enjoy playing with the creativity and make things. I said this last show, but I like it, so I'm going to say it again. Instead of move fast and break things, I like to slow down and make things. So whatever it is I want to have in my life, whatever I need, want, it's time for frame design, dishes, floral arrangements, whatever materials I find or come into my life, I use those as my resources to challenge my resourcefulness instead of wanting what I don't have, using what I have. There we go. I want to say one other thing about that, which is it's time for us all, I believe, to walk lighter on the planet. So the more we use what's healthy around us instead of driving to buy the perfect thing or ordering something that has to be shipped to us, what do we have around us? And that's what my life is. I had a boyfriend many years ago who graduated from Stanford as an MBA, and he said, one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, which is, you can do so much with so little. And I do believe that's part of my spirituality. Love the planet, love the ecosystem and all the creatures, and live in balance with it by using less resources, except the inexhaustible resources, love and imagination. So that's how and why I create in so many different mediums. If I need something, I give myself permission to try to make it. There we go.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, let's you can never go wrong with another Albert Einstein quote, am I right?
That's true.
Art is standing with one hand extended into the universe and one hand extended into the world, and letting ourselves be a conduit for passing energy. Wow.
Wow, thanks, Albert.
He's got a very spiritual side. He's like
A spiritual scientist.
yeah.
And the difference between, this isn't a joke, but it could be made into one if I was more clever than I probably am. I'm not as funny as I think I am anyhow, which is the difference between an artist and a scientist. Is scientists and artists both study what is, observe what is. Scientists try to prove it, understand it. Artists just feel it and express it. So, but they're very similar in that they both like study light, study gravity, study color, and all of these aspects of our existence. But artists are okay to feel it and express it. They don't have to prove it, quantify it. So there you go. And I call myself a born-again artist because I'm all about, we're all connected, everything is connected, and that's part of the reason I'm always working in series. And now we have the Subtle Seasons 7 Scroll Stairs series. And we're going to wrap it up because we went almost an hour today. And when you come back on Monday at noon, hopefully you will see this wolf. It's a she-wolf, so she will be in her more articulated environment, and there will be a waterfall that will turn into a creek, a river that will turn into a pond at the bottom in spring, and you'll get to see this progressing. So here's number 1, and now this is number 2 in the 7, and I'm going to do work on these between now and Monday, but I'm going to video it so you'll get to see it in progress. And then I'm hoping to finish the 7 by the end of this series, which is 10, this ARAC grant series. And then there's the next series, which will be 20 live streams. So we'll just move from one to the next. The next series will be illustrating my memoir. So that ought to be fun, trying to show what I imagined as a little girl, starting as a little girl, floating around in my bubble of light. All right.
Fantastic. We just don't need to be recording the overhead anymore.
Okay. Well, I think it's wrap it up time.
Okay.
So,
No. So check out her Patreon, patreon.com/Clare Cooley. Join for free. It's basically like you'll get updates on all of her stuff, and her live streams go there. And if you upgrade and become a paid member of the Patreon, you'll get free access to all of her stencil designs, and she's putting out more all the time.
all right. Thank you for your help, Bodhi, and thank you, Michael, Joni, and anybody else that I missed that commented, asked questions, laughed at your jokes, laughed at me trying to be funny, or just enjoyed Floga and Flow and Art. So thanks for being here.